Oh, hey, what's up, guys? Steve over Scotch and Things. Hey, I know I just uploaded this unboxing video yesterday. It's been a month now since I've been carrying this for a month now, and I talked about the differences in the two ties that I have, and I just kind of wanted to go over how this thing's been at work real quick, and then like the differences. We'll get this thing out of the way real quick, wait. So every day for a month, and it's kind of hard to see with this color. I mean, I can see it in person. A little, whatever color that was for Anno, a little kind of fade in touch points. You know, some scrapes on the clip. What I'm surprised about is how well the Vulcan finish is holding up to cutting all the time through cardboard and plastic. And I mean, there's a scratch there, and there's some kind of wear marks that are kind of hard to see here, but I can see them just from going through different media, from jamming it in. I talk about it, I pry a lot. A lot of stuff is in cardboard. Some stuff is in wooden crates that's then screwed down. And honestly, I know people say don't pry with your knives. It's just easier. When you need the stuff, you need the stuff. And I don't have time to go back and get a screw gun. And it's just easier to stick your knife blade in and pop the top on the crates. What I did notice, since the blade is thicker, I got to kind of get the tip in and kind of work it in, because the blade is so thick, to get it in between the wood. Like I said, I've been carrying it every day on the job for a month, and I really enjoy it. I'm really glad I finally picked one up for work. Edge is holding really well still on the S45. I'm just a huge fan. Like I talked in that video about maybe sending it in to get PVD'd. I think it would look cool black, but I'll probably just rock this thing until it's so beat up. Then if it needs freshening up, then I'll send it in sometime. It's still really smooth. It's still way smoother than this one, and I carry that quite a bit. In an EDC roll, it's never been on the job site. So yeah, as a work knife, this thing has been stellar. I'm thoroughly impressed. I really enjoy it, and I'm glad I picked one up. I'll let you know if anything else changes, but like I said, after a month, it's been completely fine. Now I wanted to do a comparison, because I talked about in my unboxing, and why it was kind of fresh in I watched that video, and when it's kind of fresh in my mind, I've been carrying this. How I mentioned this one is, I like the flatter. If you can see how much material, I'm not gonna get fancy with calipers or anything, but you can see how much material they've shaved off, they've sculpted off these scales. Just around, like, looking at like the pivot, how much they've taken off, looking at the scales around the stop pins. They've removed a lot, and like I say, it's slick in hand. On these ridges, it's I don't know how to say, from going in and out of pocket, from carrying it, they're not slick, but they're shiny, so I don't know, I feel the sculpting has taken away from the comfort of this knife. I think I like how thick and chunky this is, and this is a lot thinner in hand, which is fine. Like I said, I still carry it and use it, but I didn't realize, like when I started thinking about it, like my hands I'm always rubbing on these raised spots, and I just noticed that they were kind of slick and shiny, and how really thinned out that makes makes this tie. Difference between the, drop point. It's kind of nice. Like I said, when I first saw the tie, I thought, oh my God, that'll be great. And I always wanted Tanto. Ended up getting the drop point, and I really like the drop point. Like, it's still a nice, big, strong tip. This would be fine for any kind of prying work I want to do too. But just super slicey. This one's an S35. Yeah, I'm kind of glad I finally stepped out and got one that was what I kind of wanted, a flatter scale. And the Tanto doesn't mean like, and it's kind of helpful, like this one being a little skinnier in the handles for some EDC stuff, or just like you can see I carry pocket clips all banged up. And like I said, I love carrying this one. And like I said in that video, like it's finally just, you can still see it doesn't drop. It's still, like, after 2 years, where this one came way smoother and has just gotten even better. After 2 years of this one, it was a pretty stiff knife when I first got it. So it is finally, and that's with me putting some gunny glide or whatever in the deep hit temp ball track and just kind of wearing it in and playing with it. It's finally getting to that point where it's breaking in, which is just amazing. But just see here, opening and closing it. Like when I open it here, like because of that sculpting, the knife wants to slide away from me, because there's kind of a peak right here, and the sculpting goes down here and then kind of this way. So if you were to put, say, water here, it would flow down, it would come this way or this way, if you can kind of tell what I'm talking about. So when I'm opening that, that's what made me kind of first notice it. I open it like that, and it just, the knife wants to kind of roll on that spot. It just kind of wants to roll away from me. I'm not saying it's anything bad. Like I said, it's got a special place in my heart, being my first Praetorian tie ever. Just little things you kind of gotta work around. Is different sculpting different? Like, I think this is called the Predator sculpt. I think this is the Predator sculpt. So would other sculpting be different? Probably, maybe. I'm not sure, but yeah. Would I have preferred a flat? Yeah, I prefer the flatter scale. For me, it's easier in hand, and you can see, like, I mean, here, see the hardware, how much hardware sticks out, so how much material they've taken off there, and it does make a difference in hand. So if you're someone wanting a Praetorian tie and you don't want really thick and chunky, but you still want that thick and chunky blade, then you might want to look for a sculpted version like that. It was just something I don't think anybody's I've seen talk about, and it was just something I noticed after having this one for 2 years, and then this one now a month, and carrying the differences in them between the sculpted and the non-sculpted. So that's something that might concern you, this one might be a little bit lighter, a little bit easier to handle for some people. And it really and honestly doesn't matter. It's just stuff like I said, I've noticed when opening this one and carrying it. That it's just a little slicker in hand, that it wants to rotate in my hand when I open it. Isn't, in the grand scheme of things, is this a big deal? No, but just if you're looking for one, you might want to think about, all right, yeah, I want the big blade, but God, it's going to be heavy. Well, find a sculpted one, because this is considerably lighter than this one. So that's all I got for you guys. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.